Respected sir, I am Tejash from CSCD. Now I am going to present my case study, India's petroleum import and export patterns over a span of several years using data visualization techniques in Python. Here I have saved this CSV file with name as PNG statistics. For first 4 questions I have used one dataset CSV file, and for fifth question I have used another dataset CSV file, that is the oil imports. In the first step, I have imported the essential Python libraries that are NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib.pyplot and Seaborn. Here, NumPy is used for numerical operations and Pandas is used for reading and handling the tabular data. And Matplotlib.pyplot and Seaborn are used for creating visualizations and plots for plotting the graphs. Here, I have used the Pandas.read CSV function to load the dataset named PNG statistics, which is stored in the downloads folder. The data is assigned to a variable called dataframe. Displaying the dataframe shows the petroleum product import export data across multiple financial years from 2014 to 15 and 2020 to 21. Now we will go through each question one by one. Here question 1. What is the overall trend of oil imports and exports in India from 2014 to 23? Here oil keywords is a variable which it contains lists of crude oil and petroleum product. Next one is oil data. In this I used contains. This contain function filters only those rows where the import export column contains these keywords. So oil data will include crude oil import, petroleum product import, export of petroleum products, net petroleum product export. Next years, I have years equal to 2014 to 15 up to so on 2020 to 21. This defines the years that will be used on the x-axis of the plot. These are the financial years present in the dataset which I have given in the PNG statistics. Next, plot.figure figure size equal to 12,6. This line sets the size of the chart to make it wider and more readable, 12 inches by 6 inches. This loops through each row of the filtered oil data. Plots the volumes across the years. Use circular markers, marker equal to 0 at each point. Labels the line with the product type crude oil import. Plot.title gives the chart a title. Plot.x label and y label the axis of x and y. And plot.legend adds a legend to identify each line. Plot.grid adds grid lines for the better readability in the graph. Plot.xsticks is a rotation equal to 45 I gave, rotates year labels for better visibility. Plot.tight layout prevents overlapping of the elements. Plot.show displays the chart. Here the output which I have for this question. This is the graph trends of oil imports exports in India 2014 to 21. Sir, and the next question is second one. In which year did India import the highest volume of crude oil? And years equal to 2014 to 15 and up to so on 2020 to 21. These are the years where analyzing for crude oil import volumes. And this dot contains this function filters only the row where the import export column contains the text crude oil import. This row has the early data for crude oil imports. This extracts that import volume of crude oil across the selected years from 2014 to 2021. Here .ilog0 is used because the filtered result is a data frame and we want the first and only row. Here for the max year and max value I used idx max. It returns the year where the import volume was highest, and dot max gives the actual value. And this line prints a clear statement about when the highest crude oil import occurred and how much was imported. This is a graph. This is a bar chart which is for second question, crude oil import volume by year from 2014 to 2020. And the next question is, how did the COVID-19 pandemic affect petroleum trade? This line's data from change during COVID. This line creates a new column called change during COVID that shows the difference in the volume for each product between the years 2019 to 20 before COVID and 2020 to 21 during COVID. A negative value means trade decreased. A positive value means trade increased. And this line it selects only the relevant columns, import or export the product name. 2019 to 20 and 20 to 21 trade volumes before and during COVID. Change during COVID, the difference. Then sorts the data. Then it sorts the data to show the biggest negative changes first, the products most affected by the COVID. And it prints the top 5 products that had the largest drop in trade volume between 2019 to 20 and 20 to 21. And it creates a horizontal bar chart. It's the code for the final graph is that here change in petroleum trade volume due to COVID-19 from 1920 versus 2021. Here it's the fourth question. Which petroleum products are the largest export growth post 2020? Here it lists the financial years being analyzed 2014-15 through 2020-21. And dot contains it filters the dataset to only include rows related to exports. It checks if the import or export column contains the word export. It also ensures that the category column is not empty to exclude summary rows. And dot copy is used to avoid modifying the original data frame by reference. A new column called Growth Post 2020 is created. It shows the change in export volume between 2019 to 20 and 2020 to 21. A positive value means exports increased after the pandemic year. A negative value means exports declined. And it will find the rows product where the growth value is maximum. IDX max means it finds the growth value is maximum. The biggest increase in export volume. And it stores the result in a variable top export. And this print it will print a message that tells us which products are the highest increase in exports after 2020 and by how much. And this one is the code for the chart, bar chart. This plot dot figure it will tells us the size of the chart by 12 inches by 6 inches. And here I have chosen the color green and x-axis as a product petroleum products and Y label as a growth in export volume in 1000 metric tons. And here green bar shows the change with taller bars indicating larger growth. Product with negative growth will be downward bars. Here this is the graph for this question. This is the question. What are the top 5 countries India imports oil from? This dot lower this filters the data to include only rows where the product is crude oil and the result is stored in the crude DF. Here a DF as a data frame, it's taken as a variable crude DF. Group the crude oil data by country, sums the total volume of oil imported from each country, sorts the countries by total volume in descending order. Here dot head 5 means it will print only 5 from after sorting the values. And select the top 5 countries within the highest volume. And this it will display the names and volumes of the top 5 countries in the console. And this is the code for the bar chart. It plots a bar chart of the top 5 countries and their total crude oil export volume to India. Here it's the bar chart for this question 5. And finally these are the questions, 5 questions which I have done for my case study review 1, sir. Thank you, sir.